Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Texas History Roundup for November 5th on the Feed Bandit podcast. In 1806, General James Wilkinson and Lieutenant Colonel Simón de Herrera, United States and Spanish military commanders, respectively, signed an agreement that declared the disputed territory between the Arroyo Hondo and the Sabine River to be neutral ground. After the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, the United States and Spain were unable to agree on the boundary between Louisiana and Spanish Texas. The boundaries of the neutral ground were never officially described beyond a general statement that the Arroyo Hondo on the east and the Sabine River on the west and the 32nd parallel of latitude to the north were the boundaries. Although no settlers were permitted in the neutral ground, squatters from both Spanish and U.S. territory moved in, and the area became known as No Man's Land for renegades and thieves. The two governments sent in joint military expeditions in 1810 and 1812 to expel the outlaws. Finally, ownership of the strip went to the United States by the Adams-Onis Treaty in 1821. In 1844, this was a pivotal day for Texas in that James K. Polk of Tennessee won the U.S. presidency over Henry Clay of Kentucky. Polk and Texas, and Clay and No Texas, had been major campaign themes. The annexation process began February 28, 1845, before Polk's inauguration, when a joint resolution of annexation was approved by both houses of Congress, and outgoing President John Tyler sent his emissary Andrew S. Donaldson to Texas to encourage acceptance. A Texas convention voted unanimously to accept annexation on July 4, 1845, and the articles were signed by President Polk on December 19, 1845. While that was probably an inevitable and necessary step for Texas, looking back on it, and it's probably, of course it's why and where Texas is where it is today. That's not to say that, sometimes separating is a better course of action going forward. And that's what we talk about here on the Feed Bandit podcast a lot in our Leave the Swamp series. So go check it out. Look up some old episodes and see what we talk about. In 1863, Pendleton Murrah, the last governor of Texas during the War of Northern Aggression, was inaugurated. Murrah fled to Mexico at the end of the war and died in Monterrey on August 4, 1865. In 1918, Annie Webb Blanton became the first woman elected to a state office in Texas when she won the race for Superintendent of Public Instruction. She was a graduate of UT Austin and earned a doctorate degree from Cornell University. Blanton was an American suffragist, educator, and publisher of grammar texts. In 1960, singer Johnny Horton, on the way to a performance in Shreveport, died in an automobile crash in Milano. Born in Los Angeles in 1925, Horton as a youth split time between Los Angeles and East Texas. He first received attention for the songs Honky Tonk Man and When It's Springtime in Alaska, but his most popular were The Battle of New Orleans and Sink the Bismarck. In 1989, James W. Jimmy Johnson got his first win as the Dallas Cowboys coach, besting the Washington Redskins 13-3. This would be Johnson's only win for his first season as the head coach of the Cowboys. He was born in Port Arthur, where he was an all-state lineman at Jefferson High School. At the University of Arkansas, he was an All-Southwest Conference guard on their 1964 national championship team. Johnson served as head coach at Oklahoma State and the University of Miami, during which the Hurricanes won the 1987 national championship. The Cowboys later won back-to-back Super Bowls with him as their head coach. Johnson is in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. In 1994, 45-year-old George Foreman became the oldest man to win the heavyweight boxing crown when he knocked out defending champion Michael Moorer in the 10th round. In 2009, a mass shooting took place at Fort Hood near Killeen. The perpetrator, Nidal Hassan, a U.S. Army major and psychiatrist, fatally shot 13 people and injured more than 30 others. In the attack, Hassan was shot and paralyzed from the waist down. The weapons used were an automatic pistol and revolver. Hassan and police officers, mostly Hassan, fired over 200 rounds of ammunition. Hassan was found guilty on 13 counts of premeditated murder and 32 counts of attempted premeditated murder and sentenced to death on August 28, 2013. He was a Muslim and claimed to be radicalized by U.S. Army actions in Muslim countries. This was the deadliest shooting on a U.S. military base. And in 2017, during Sunday services at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Devin P. Kelly of New Braunfels killed 26 people before killing himself. He used an assault rifle. Kelly had been convicted for assaulting his wife in 2012 and 2014 and was dismissed from the Air Force with a bad conduct discharge. He was prohibited by law from possessing firearms and ammunition due to a court-martial conviction while in the military, but the Air Force had failed to record the conviction with the FBI National Crime Information Center. The attack was the deadliest shooting in Texas and the deadliest in a place of worship in the United States at the time. Oh, okay. Well, that was your Texas History Roundup for November 5th. A lot going on November 5th and 4th yesterday, if you listened to that one. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and have a good day. All right, you take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.